Am I sad? Hell yeah, I'm sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it fucking hurts. I thought I was going to marry this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it's over. Welcome into the podcast, another episode of Living Large. Today's episode is an emergency podcast because I got some stuff going on in my life, and I'm joined by my former co-host, Pearson Faudet. How we doing, bro?
Good, man. Tired.
Good to see you,
It's
dude.
great to see you, too. It's been a minute since we've done one of these.
I know. Welcome back to the land of La.
I know, right? The strike's over.
The
La
actor
land.
strike, you went through it. And
Yeah.
during your time away, what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah. You've been through a lot more than, well, you've been through a lot.
Breakup number 2.
Oh, how's it feel?
Both of us are single now.
Yep.
How does it feel? Oh, man. I don't even know where to start.
Let's start with the beginning. How did you get into the relationship?
All right, we'll backtrack. How did I get into the relationship? So I met Taylor, honestly, at probably one of the lowest points in my life. I was not doing well. I was living alone in Echo Park, and I just fell down into some bad habits. I was playing Call of Duty all day, drinking 2 bottles of wine,
Yeah.
Uber Eatsing Dave's Hot Chicken,
Yeah.
which is just not good for you.
Yeah, no.
Deep depression, man. I didn't want to leave my house. And then actually a buddy of mine, well, he wasn't a buddy at the time. He was a fan. He's from Switzerland. He's like, hey, man, I'm in Switzerland. Let's shoot some content. He does video stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. Like I was coming out with that song Tequila on Sunday, and he hit me up and he's like, let's film some content. I was like, all right, like, cool. Someone's actually reaching out to do something creative. So we filmed some content. And then one day I was out filming promotional stuff with some Instagram models for the video. And he hits me up. He's like, hey, man, I got an extra ticket to this concert tonight that I'm shooting. Do you want to come? And I was like, I didn't really want to go. And I was like, where is it? And he's like, it's at the Echo, which was a mile from my house. So I was like, all right, this guy just shot a bunch of content for me for free. The least I could do is go to this concert with him and hang out with him. So I'm like, yeah, sure, dude, I'll come. Let me go home real quick and change, and then I'll be there. So I go to the Echo, and Taylor's there, who's his friend from Switzerland. And the ticket that I actually got, the extra ticket, a girl was supposed to come with Taylor, but she just ghosted her last second and didn't show up. So Taylor had the extra ticket. And then Darren was like, well, if your girlfriend's not coming, can I bring my friend Mark? And she's like, yeah, like, whatever, that's fine. Like, but I'm not going to entertain him. Like, whatever. So then I get there and I'm me. I come and I get a pizza because I was starving. I bring it in and
Adding to the Dave's Hot Chicken right there.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, at this point, I was kind of turning my life around a little bit. I was going to the gym, but I was starving, and I didn't have time to make something at home. So I was like, all right, there's a pizza shop. I just grabbed a piece of pizza. I went in, and of course, I'm me. She didn't have to entertain me at all, and we really hit it off. And, I got her phone number, and then from there, we started to hang out. And this was, like I said, at a time when I was not doing well. I was doing so bad, in fact, that I called my parents, and I'd called them many times. I'm like, and on the phone I'd joked, I'd been like, hey guys, when are you coming out to see me? And they'd be like, oh, like, we don't know, like, blah, blah, blah. And then it finally got to the point where I was like, I need them to come. So I called my dad and my mom, and I was like, hey, I'm not doing well. I need you guys to come see me. Because there's something different about, I was going home to Ohio, but there's something different about your family coming to see you in your environment and see the way that you live and show interest in your life. And I hadn't felt that. I hadn't felt the support because I always went home, and it is easier because I could see my whole family. But I really wanted them to come out and see me and show interest in me and support me in my environment. So it was at that time I met Taylor. They were coming out like in the next week. And the connection that Taylor and I had was something I'd never had before. And I don't know if it was because I was at a low point in my life, but I don't think so. Because I never in my life connected with someone on that level, even when I was at a high point in my life, So we started hanging out a ton, and she met my parents like the third time we hung out because they came out. We went bowling and stuff. And I don't know, there was something just really special about the connection that we had. And Yeah, that's how we met.
How'd it go from there? What are the next steps?
We had some hardships for sure because I was battling my mental health and she was just getting out of a relationship. I mean, it's easy now that the relationship's over to like look back and see where things went wrong and be like, oh, we could have handled this better. We could have handled that better. But I just think we didn't meet at the right time. And that's something I'm learning now as I reflect. You have to be good mentally to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And you cannot project onto the other person and you can't look for happiness in someone else. And I think that's kind of our relationship. I feel like didn't get off on the right foot because neither of us were healed.
Yeah. What did you reflect on and find that your biggest, I guess, trauma points or unhealed points in your own relationship were when you're looking into, let me rephrase that. When you're looking back on that, what are the things that you weren't healed from?
It's not that I wasn't healed from my past relationship. I definitely was. I wasn't confident. And because my career, I, rightfully so, let it slip. It's nobody's fault but myself. And I was so consumed with being a YouTuber as my identity, and I just let that go. And it got to the point where I was so consumed with posting a video and it not doing well. And I'm just like telling myself every day, like, damn, bro, I'm irrelevant. And like, I just got in my own head. And instead of like fighting to fix it, I just sat there and deteriorated.
Yeah.
So that's what I wasn't healed from. Because if you look back on my first breakup, dude, I glue up.
Yeah.
You know, I became myself again. And that's something too that I'm learning. I tend to lose myself in relationships. I tend to stop putting myself first. And that's something that I need to work on.
Yeah. That's a hard thing to work on though, especially pre-relationship because you're not thinking about it.
Right.
And in the midst of a relationship, that's when all those things start popping up and you're like, oh crap, I didn't fix that. That's an insecurity for me. This is a major insecurity for me. When those things started popping up, how did it affect the relationship?
A lot.
Go on.
You know why? Because, and I started this class called Still Life in Venice. My friend puts it on, and it's really talking about values and what do you value and how is your behavior lining up with those values. And I put down the things that I value. And then they said, okay, now in this other column, put down the behaviors you're doing to contribute like to those values. And it's like, I sit here and I say, I value work. I value success. But then you look at where you're spending your time, Call of Duty, going out with your friends. You don't really value the things that you say you're valuing. You value these more because
that's what you're making time for.
That's what I'm making time for. Oh, your friend hits you up to play COD. You go do it. Your friend hits you to go to Soho House and get drinks. You go do it. But you're saying you value this, but your actions aren't aligning with that.
Yeah.
So I asked the question, I do value work. And when I'm at my best and when I'm in my mental health's the best, I'm focused on what I do love, my passion, my purpose. But then you get into a relationship and all of a sudden your value went from work to now your number one value is your partner. Yeah. And you drop work down to maybe 2, maybe 3. And then that's during the honeymoon stage.
Yep.
So after the honeymoon stage, you kind of wake up and you're like, wait, fuck, I forgot about my values. I forgot that work is number one. So I think that's what happened in my relationship. Even though work wasn't number one at the time when I met her, I've always valued work and wanted to get that figured out. And then I start to get in a relationship and I'm like, oh, fuck, like I can't keep going down the path I'm going down. If I want to have a future with this girl, I have to prioritize work right now. I got to get back on my feet because now I'm not only providing for me, I want to provide for her. So then work goes back to number 1, girlfriend goes down to number 3. That affects the relationship because it's like, wait, you gave me all this attention and love and now I'm not getting it. You're putting it all in the work.
Yeah.
So I think, it's important to find balance.
Did that create resentment inside of the relationship?
Yeah, I think from both ends, honestly, because she obviously resented the lack of attention that I used to give her, rightfully so. You know, the expectation was set that this is what I am. And then pulling that back, obviously you're going to be like, yo, what's wrong? Like, he doesn't like me anymore. He doesn't love me anymore. And resentment from my side for sure, because I'm like, hey, like, I need you to support that this is what I need to do right now, and it's for the future. And I think I didn't communicate it well. But I will say this relationship, the level of communication was 10 times better than my first relationship. I learned so much more from this relationship than I did my first one. I think the first relationship really taught me not how to judge people, because me and my first girlfriend had very different backgrounds. You know, I came from a Catholic family, they've been married for 40 something years. My grandparents were married for 60 years. Like, they've only been with each other sexually. And then my first relationship, you know, divorced family, very different background, raised in California. So that relationship taught me not how to judge. This relationship taught me, okay, not judge. Me and Taylor had very different backgrounds. Same thing, from Ohio, Catholic family. She's from Switzerland. Parents aren't together. Yeah. So I didn't judge on that front, and I think everybody's raised different. But yeah, we had a really high level of communication, and going back to what I said when we first met, the connection was something that I've never experienced before.
Where do you think you lost the connection?
I don't think we did lose the connection.
Okay. What are the moments that led up to the breakup?
I think a lot of it had to do with, like I mentioned, not putting the relationship first. And then the long distance. Yeah. The separation for 3 months. That's not something I've ever dealt with before. And lacking that, it's very hard when it's a 9-hour difference. You lack communication, you lack intimacy, you lack all of these things that, you know, when we were together for the 3 months, we were so intense in doing those things because we knew we only had 3 months. And then, yeah, just pulling back from that, the long distance caused some rifts. And what was I going to say? Oh, in the values thing, the still life thing, because I brought this up. You know, what do you do when one person puts the relationship at number 1 and the other person puts the relationship at number 3? And he made a good point. He's like, if both partners put their partner at number 1, you're going to be living on the streets. Someone has to put work at number 1. And, you know, obviously my career hasn't been going the way that it's been going, but I've been finally figuring it out. Like, I'm seeing a lot of success on TikTok, and it'd be a lie to say that I'm not motivated by the numbers, because that's how I make a living. Yeah. And to see the numbers go up, it motivates me. It's like, okay, now I want to keep it going. Yeah. And it's kind of reminds me of back when I first started. Like, I spent so long trying to figure out what works now. Yeah. What am and I didn't transition. And I look back on my career, I'm like, all right, started on Instagram, did the skits. People stopped doing those. They started doing daily vlogs. I had no problem. I still did the skits. I had no problem jumping to YouTube. I did the vlogs, pushed that. And then the vlogs started to die. And like, I started the podcast, and I did my Facebook show, and then I did music. I transitioned. And then when I moved alone, honestly, COVID fucked everything. Yeah. Truthfully. Yeah. I don't want to blame COVID, but really it derailed my life. Yeah. And I lost my identity because I wanted to make the YouTube videos, and I still was during COVID, but then you read the comments and it's like, you're being insensitive. People are dying. You're going outside. Yeah. And it's like just getting so much hate for like living my life.
Doing your job.
Doing my job. Yeah. Right.
People forget that social media is a full-time job. Right. And, you know, having grown up on a farm, you grew up in Ohio, your dad did landscaping, right? These are totally different worlds from social media, from entertainment. It's very hard work. And then you break into the world of social media, and yeah, it looks really fun because we're only posting the highlights on social media, but people don't realize that, you know, there's 8 to 12 hours of editing on that video, maybe 20 hours of editing on that one video, you know, shooting all those pieces of content to try and bring together 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and all the work that you put in pre and post on all of that for it to only get 1,000 views. Yeah. And it's like, It's like going to a job and working for 40 hours and making $2.
That's what I think the hardest part, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a job,
Mm-hmm.
you know how much you're making an hour, or you have a salary, you know how much you're making. With social media, you could do the same amount of work, maybe even more work, and you don't know how much money you're going to make. Sure, if it pops off, you make a ton of money, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But TikTok, bro, I have 1.5 million followers on TikTok. I'll post a TikTok. Sometimes it gets 500 views.
Yep.
How's that even possible?
Don't know.
And it's like, damn, I worked just as hard on this video as I did on the one that did 10 million views.
Mm-hmm.
And I made 3 cents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, it does fuck with your head a little bit. But yeah, I'm getting back on my feet and I feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly. Wow, why did I say that word? I don't think I've ever used it.
Certainly.
Yeah, I've had my days of being upset. I've cried.
Mm-hmm.
I think what helps with this breakup more so than the first breakup I went through is I know what I need to do to get through it.
Yeah.
The first one, I didn't have a roadmap. I was figuring it out. I was so lost. You know, you spend every day with this person and you're like, it's gone.
Yeah.
This one, it does hurt because our connection was so pure that, but and of course, like I said, I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hide that and be like, oh, I'm so fucking grateful that we're not together anymore.
Yeah.
But I know the roadmap that I have to take to better myself.
Which is?
Do what I did last time. I need to go to the gym. And I've already noticed going to the gym. It sucked the first few times, but I force myself. I get the discipline back.
Yep.
I feel good.
Yeah.
Like I feel that sense of accomplishment. I went back to my routine, 5:30 a.m., wake up, make my bed, drink my coffee. I'll go in there and edit the TikTok clips down while my coffee's making, come out, drink it, eat my breakfast, go to the gym, do my cardio, hit my workout, do my sauna, come back, feel great, feel accomplished already. And it's 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously now I'm taking different measures than I did last time. I'm in therapy, which is a very new thing for me.
Congrats, man. That's
Pearson
actually big.
Yeah, Pearson. I've always knocked therapy, and I think it's just because of the way I was raised.
Yeah.
Church. That's what my dad always said. You don't need therapy. You just need to go to church. And I'm like, well, they're not answering my specific needs right now. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what's funny about church and therapy is the Catholic Church had confession. And we had that the invention of therapy and psychology, pre-invention of therapy and psychiatry and all these different things. We still vented to a priest or a pastor, and then they would give us like steps to help improve our life. That was before we did a lot of studying on, psychoanalyzation. And now you're in this new world where we have different tools. So while he's right, yeah, we did have church for hundreds of years. Now we have better, more intricate tools to like help you get through this specific period in your life.
Right. Confession is in a sense therapy.
Yeah.
But they don't really offer you feedback, I guess. They're just like listening.
Yeah.
And it is a place to vent for all the things that you've done wrong. But therapy, I think I get frustrated with my therapist sometimes.
Tell me.
And I think that's a good thing, actually, because she's not telling me what I want to hear. Yeah. And it makes me think and go inward and be like, and honestly, I figured this out. Therapy is for you to figure it out yourself. Yep. Because you say shit out loud. Yeah. And they're like, wait, did you see what you said right there? And then you repeat it and you're like, oh. The answer's been in front of me this whole time. Yeah. But for some reason, you're so like ADHD in your head. You're thinking about a ton of shit.
What's the biggest revelation you had in therapy while you were in this relationship?
I don't know. I still am figuring out therapy. And if it's for me, I've given up on it a few times. And Taylor wasn't happy about that either. Because I guess my biggest struggle was my career. And once I figured out, when I posted that first podcast clip a few months ago, of the terrorist attack guy, and it went viral. And then I posted the one with Kevin Hines, and that went viral, like 28 million views.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this just solved all my problems. Like this was the number one pressing issue in my life, my career. And if that's derailed, then I'm fucking discombobulated and I don't know what's going on. And I finally figured it out. So then I was like, well, I don't need therapy because I figured out the problem, you know?
Or at least the topical version of the problem.
The topic. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do have a ton of things to work on, especially when it comes to relationships. And I was talking to my therapist yesterday. And I was like, I really love being independent. I've been independent my whole life. I never had a girlfriend in high school, never had a girlfriend in college, moved to Los Angeles, met Kylie, dated her for 2 years, was single for another 4, met Taylor. And I think when I get into a relationship, I lose my independence somehow. And I need to figure out how to balance that because I really thrive during alone time. But I told her, I'm like, yes, I love being alone, but I also know, like I'm 30 now. I need to grow the fuck up. I know when I'm 50, I'm not going to enjoy being alone. So I'm like in this weird spot where it's like, I know I have to grow up because I don't want to be alone when I'm 50 because I'm in my golden years right now.
Yeah.
No one wants a 50-year-old single man. He's single for a reason.
Still trying to figure his shit out.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm in this weird predicament where it's like, how can you be independent in a relationship? I'm asking you.
I don't know.
Because you in your relationship, you did lose yourself a little bit too, no?
Completely, yeah.
Yeah.
And the recovery process on the back end of a relationship is finding your identity again. Your solo identity, because you spend so much time making sure that person feels included in all the aspects of your life, and you sacrifice a lot. Part of relationship is compromise. You're like, okay, I want to go do this thing, but if you can't go do it with me, maybe I shouldn't go do that thing. And that becomes a really big challenge because a lot of those experiences that we want to go have are kind of single person experiences. We want to go travel the world, but we want to go with a couple of buddies. Single person experience. So now we have to make sure that person's included all the time. So we slowly remove ourselves from a friend group by circumstance. And then you only spend time with your significant other all the time. And we don't have that like work-life friendship balance, which creates a huge, huge list of challenges on the way out of a relationship. Right now, you're in the stage of like reaching out to all of your friends again. You're hanging out with friends again. You're going out again. You're seeing people that you've never seen before. You're talking to, people that you probably couldn't talk to when you were in a relationship. Right. And it kind of expands your horizons in a lot of ways, but it's hard, man. There's nothing easy about coming out of a relationship and trying to find yourself again. It takes months. My mom always had a good phrase is like, whatever length you were in a relationship, it takes about half that time to recover fully from it. So if you're in for 2 years, give yourself a solid year to recover. It's not always the case, but most of the time, I think that actually is pretty accurate.
Which you should. You should heal. You shouldn't hop into something new. Because I have so many things I need to work on. And if I just find someone who loves me for who I am, all that shit's going to come back up 4 months after the honeymoon stage.
Yep, exactly.
They really find out who you are and all the shit that you haven't worked on.
Yep.
And then the cycle's just going to repeat itself.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be happy if you're not happy with yourself.
Yeah.
The Will Smith thing, he said something about like both of you need to be happy and then come together and make happiness too.
You both have to be whole.
Yeah. So you can't rely on the other person to make you happy. You have to find what makes you happy, and they have to find what makes them happy. And if you guys can be happy by yourselves out here, then that's perfect. But if you're looking to each other for that dopamine and those moments of happiness,
relief from your current circumstances,
yes,
rather than I'm happy and I want to bring you in on it.
Recipe for disaster.
Let me ask you a question about kind of midway through the relationship. We talked a lot on the phone, and you vented to me a lot about a lot of stuff.
Appreciate you.
Of course.
You had to hear all of it.
I heard everything.
Yeah.
And you know, that's for you to discuss, but what of that conversation can you tell people about that would help them on their journey? You know, what are the things that led to those conversations that we would have for hours at a time? And I was like, okay, this isn't good. None of this is good. None of this is healthy. This is pretty toxic. And I want my friend to be happy. I want Taylor to be happy. I want everybody to be happy in the end of this, but there's some problems happening.
Well, first and foremost, I think that I've learned also now not to vent to people so much. Mm-hmm. And I think, so that's where the gray area is in a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. When you vent to someone, me venting to you, I'm never telling you about the good. Mm-hmm. You're only hearing the bad. And that's what we tend to do. And then, you know, you vent to your family and then they start to dislike someone and they're not seeing the good moments.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in the beginning of a relationship, we're always telling our friends about how this person makes us feel, the good moments. And then as the relationship goes on, you're starting to vent like, oh, I hate this about them. I hate that. I hate this. And you're hearing all the things that I hate. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say hate. I don't hate anything. Hate's a strong word. Dislike. Yeah. And you hear all, you know, the troubles that are going on, but you don't see the good. Mm-hmm. So from your perspective, you're like, this is an absolute disaster.
Yep. And
from my perspective, I'm like, well, when things are good, they're good.
Yeah.
And when things are bad, they're bad.
Right.
What was the question again?
What disclose, help us understand what those things were that were bad and what were good.
I think, damn, I can't even think right now.
That's fair.
That's crazy. Did I block out the relationship?
I could tell you.
Give me an example that I vented to you about. I can't even think right now. I don't want to talk bad about anything, right? Relationships it takes two to tango.
Where was trust broken?
We both wanted each other to change things, and it didn't seem like we were willing to do that. One thing that I wanted was her to find a passion and a purpose. And I know that's a big ask. Like, I couldn't find it for so long, right? And I didn't feel like she was giving any effort into finding that. And on my end, she wanted me to work on myself and quit drinking and be a better communicator and go to therapy. And there was this like resentment from both sides, I guess, where I was like, okay, we both were like this essentially. You're not working on the thing that I want you to work on. So why am I going to work on the thing that you want me to work on? We're both not working on this. And that's kind of what happened, I feel like. Like, we both wanted each other to change. You can't change the other person, right? You have to want to change yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey, I don't like this thing about you. And you're not taking any effort to change it. And vice versa. The resentment builds up. Mm-hmm. Because you're like, damn, neither of us are putting in the effort to make this work right now. Mm-hmm. And then it deteriorates.
What are the easy roads that you both took out?
Easy roads that we both took out. I don't want to speak for her, but yeah, my end, like that first 3 months when she went back to Europe, I'm going to be honest, I was drowning. We spent every day together, and I felt like my time management was very poor. I felt like we were spending too much time together. She felt like we weren't spending enough quality time together, which I agree. We live together. I work here. She doesn't really have a job. So we were spending a lot of time together, which was affecting our quality time together because I felt like we were together too much. And she felt, well, we're not together enough qualitatively. Mm-hmm. So quantity was there, but the qualitative wasn't there, which I totally understand. So when she went back to Europe, I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay, now I can breathe. I don't have to be a boyfriend for 3 months. I can really focus on myself. And that is when I figured out the podcast. Because my friend posted on his Instagram story, happy, I don't know, I'm not going to say happy, because it was a terrorist attack. He said 8 years ago marks the day that we stopped this terrorist attack on the train. And I was like, you know what? I was laying in bed scrolling on my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna get up, and I've interviewed this guy. I see people post some podcasts on TikTok all the time. I'm just gonna go cut it down into a little clip and see how it does. Mm-hmm. If I was in bed with Taylor, there's no shot. I'm gonna scroll past it.
Yep.
There's no shot I would have got out of my bed and gone to my office and edited that clip. That ended up going viral. That ended up leading to the next one going viral and the next one, and then me finding what worked. Mm-hmm. So I did need that step back. Unfortunately, as I said, I was struggling with my mental health for quite some time, and Taylor was there for me at my lowest times. She was there. She was supporting me. She was pouring all of her energy into my cup, which led to her cup being drained. So when I was like, breather, I'm like, yes, I can focus now. Her cup was drained when she went back to Europe, and she felt unheard, unseen, lack of love, I wasn't pouring into her cup, and her cup was empty because she'd pour it all into mine. Mm-hmm. So that is where the rift kind of started. And we were arguing a lot during that long distance. Mm-hmm. Any little thing. And she was upset with me because I stopped therapy. I went over to my sister's house one night and we had some wine. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to not be drinking. That's on me. All I can do is take accountability for my shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that it's both of our faults that this relationship fell apart. And you guys know me. I can't fucking talk bad about someone, you know, like, and I just told you too, like, I don't want this podcast to be like, I want to leave some of my life private. I've given them everything, dude.
Yeah.
I don't need to give every single detail. Mm-hmm. And in situations like this, the Logan Paul falling out, did I ever say a word of why it happened? I never told the truth. I just said, yeah, you know, we grew apart.
You told the truth. You just didn't give all the details. Yeah.
And details that would make him look bad.
Right.
George Janko, same shit. I just said, yeah, we didn't see eye to eye. We had a falling out. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to give the details to make him look like a bad person because he could probably say some shit about me too. Yep. It goes both ways. Same with my breakup with Kylie. Mm-hmm. I just said, you know, like, we'd been fighting for some time and I wish her nothing but the best. I never told the truth of what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do the same fucking thing here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like, it's my life and I do not want to talk bad about another person.
Yeah, that's fine.
I contributed it too. And all I can do is take accountability for my actions and get better as a person.
Yep.
Most people go on the internet. You see the McBroom family right now. You see this shit on TikTok?
Geez.
The Ace family? Dude.
I don't know anything about them, but every time I see a video, I'm like, God, this is freaking wild.
So yes, if I talk shit and said this, and this, it would benefit my career. Mm-hmm. But look at how everyone is looking at the fucking McBroom family right now. Yeah. They're all laughing their ass off at this Austin McBroom on his Snapchat story. And Catherine's staying quiet because he's making himself look like a fool. Mm-hmm. So you want me to come out here and do all that shit that he's doing? Fuck no, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then there was another TikTok I saw of this other couple. They started arguing on TikTok, replying to each other. Like, well, he did this and she did this. And it was just like, dude, you look fucking stupid. Yeah. And it's my fault too for letting my audience so far into my life. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I don't regret anything, but that's something I look back on and I'm like, damn, bro. Like, I saw Jack Harlow quote. He was like, asking why he doesn't share his personal life. He's like, I give them everything. I give them music. They see what I'm doing on the outside, but I want that for me. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't need someone to see what my bedroom looks like. Yeah. Bro, I don't have anything for me. Yeah. The whole internet knows everything about me. They know how I lost my virginity, that I lasted fucking 4 seconds. Mm-hmm. Like that. I've told them everything. Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know. I'm just like, I guess that's just how I was raised. Mm-hmm.
So why'd you want to do this podcast?
To let people know I'm going through a breakup. Yeah. I mean, I have to let my audience know that. Mm-hmm. I think I owe it to them. Mm-hmm. But the details of the situation, I don't think I do. Okay.
That's fair.
And this will kickstart my career as a single man now. Mm-hmm. And it did the same thing last time, right? I'd made that video. I was single. It's fresh. New people are going to be in my videos. Mm-hmm. And I saw a comment. I did It's Joe's podcast. Mm-hmm. And there was a comment on one of the videos went viral, and one of the most liked comments was, Mark would have been so much more successful if he didn't turn his channel into a relationship channel. And I couldn't have a fucking agreed more. And that's something that I'm learning now. Sure, I'm talking about this now. Moving forward, I got to just do me. And that's why I started the podcast back up, because it's me.
Yeah.
And I really want people to watch me and learn from me. And I think my whole life I started behind the camera. So it was easy for me to tell other people's stories and point to them and set them up. But that's why I like talking to you. I get to talk.
Yeah.
You ask me questions. When I have an interview or when I have people and I'm the director, no one's asking me shit. And that's what I loved about the cycle of us when we were vlogging. You picked up your camera and you pointed at me.
Yeah.
You gave me a chance to say some stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here. You're giving me finally a chance to talk. My whole TikTok right now is not, I'm sitting there saying, because other people are telling their story and I'm setting them up. It's what I'm good at, but I want to talk.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Logan does so well. That's what George does so well now.
Yeah.
I met up with George after my breakup.
How'd that go?
I texted him. I said, hey, man, going through a really tough time right now. Could really use a friend. And he said, dope. Like, I'm back in LA or whatever. Like, let's grab lunch or something. We met up. We got sushi. And we said, it was, you know what? I'm going to be honest. It was weird. I haven't seen George since that one video we made at the Hesby house.
Yeah.
And it was weird. It's like, damn, I used to hang out with this dude every single day and like felt like an unbreakable bond. But it didn't feel the same this time, meeting up with him. And, you know, we caught up a little bit. And, you know, he said to me that I have to, he's like, he built my confidence back up, actually. He said I was, you know, how talented I was. He's like, bro, if I had the talent and work ethic that you have, it's game over. He's like, you used to work so hard. You used to be so driven. He's like, I have to hire people to do all the things that you can do. And he built my confidence back up. And he's like, you got to start doing this for yourself. And that really stuck with me. So that's what I guess I'm focused on now, getting myself back.
It's really sound advice, because you are talented and you do have a lot to offer people. And you are great at setting up interviews. That's what you went to college for. You know, I think that's an unspoken talent that people don't realize is, you know, there is a big talent to asking the right questions and opening up the conversation for people to speak freely. And so I don't want you to negate your own prowess inside of that, where it's like, you give people space to talk. There's a reason that Kevin Hines' video does, you know, 20 million views and 28 million views, you know, but there's a reason for that is you ask the right questions and you make people feel comfortable to open up, you know, and that's hard to do. So that is a talent in its own. That's why there's whole, you know, interviewers. That's why Oprah did so well, is she just brought people on and talked to them.
You know, I think something that I struggle with is, and I keep saying this, and I probably should stop saying this to myself, I don't have an opinion about anything. I don't. So like when you watch George on his podcast, he's got a fucking opinion about everything. He's like, he could talk about this cup for 20 minutes. I don't know how he does it. And I like you, I'm a listener and an interviewer. That's what I was trained to do. But I need to get better at like, also, I mean, look at all the controversies that Logan's been through, Jake's been through, George hasn't been through any. I mean, I guess he did with Logan. He went through that controversy. What does it do? It makes them bigger. And right now I do have an opportunity to talk fucking mad shit about everyone. Yeah. I could tell the truth about everything from my perspective and it would help me blow up, but I just can't do it. I don't know. It's not in my heart. Hate is not in my heart. Shout out my dad for making me go to church every damn Sunday. Yeah. But I think, you know, with hard work, I have so much time now. Yeah. Like I said, when I made that first video, like, dude, that's all I want to do now is make videos again. Yeah. I finally feel like myself again, but I will say I want to feel like myself in a relationship. And I think I need to figure out why it is that I don't.
What parts of yourself, looking back right now at the very end of this relationship, what parts of yourself did you recognize that you had totally killed off? And what parts are you regrowing? And how are you regrowing those? Because that's what people need to know about, right?
Well, I used to have a routine.
Mm-hmm.
And my time was the most important thing to me. My routine. When you're single, doesn't matter. It's your time. You don't have to share time with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You can have someone hit you up and you're like, "No, I can't."
Mm-hmm.
It's easy peasy. But when you live with someone, and like we talked about, the quality time did go down.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, Logan Paul brainwashed me, bro. You know why? Because this career, doing the daily vlogs and working for him, there was no schedule.
Yeah.
One day and this was what frustrated me about working for Logan. He's like, "All right, we're shooting a skit tomorrow at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. would roll around. I'm like, "Bro, what's going on?" He's like, "We're doing it at 12. 12 noon comes around. Well, yo, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it at 2. That would happen all the time. There was no fucking schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And having that part of my life for so many years spilled over now to this part of my life where it's like, I do not have a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And that is a huge problem. And I need to figure that out as my own boss for my relationship to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be like, "Hey, partner, I am working from this time until this time. And from this time until this time, I'm all yours." I wasn't doing that. And that has a huge impact on the relationship.
That's good advice right there. Is you are your own boss and you are creating your schedule for yourself. And I think that's it's a unique scenario for not everyone. Most people can go to a job. But when you are your own boss and people see you at home, your significant other, they're like, "Oh, well, he's not really working. He's, editing, whatever. He can take some time and hang out with me really quick. Oh, he's watching a TikTok." Well, they don't realize it. Yeah, maybe you are like doing a little brain rot, but at the same time, you're researching. You're looking things up and you're kind of like educating yourself on what's going viral at the time. So with that moving forward, how do you implement that consistently in your next relationship?
Be on schedule.
Yep.
And that starts with me being single right now. I have to, well, it's a little bit different because I have all the time in the world, but I do need to set that schedule for me and actually work because like you said, it's easy being your own boss, but it is hard being your own boss because you have to discipline yourself. No one's telling you, "Hey dude, you got to post this." Yeah. And if you set the deadline for Monday, you set it and you're like, fuck it, I set the deadline. No, I'm not going to get in trouble, but you are because your fan base is getting pissed off. So I need to hit those deadlines again like I used to hit. And now that I don't have to be a boyfriend, I'm married to the fucking game.
Yeah. God damn, this boy came back. He's married to the game. He woke up dangerous.
Well, that's all I have right now, to be honest with you. Yeah, certainly I did the whole thing like reaching out to friends, and hanging out with them. But all I have right now is the one thing that make me happy right now is videos and content and figuring it out. And like you said about, dude, I notice every little thing about TikTok and what does well and what doesn't do well. And I noticed that when I sat at the fucking desk and did interviews, that those videos did better than the videos sitting in a chair. I noticed that if I had headphones on in a video, it did better than ones when I didn't have headphones on. I'm looking at literally every single little detail that most people probably wouldn't even think to look at. They're not, and as a viewer, you're not even looking at that.
Yeah.
Like, would you have ever thought that I noticed a video of me interviewing with no headphones does worse than with headphones?
No.
But I noticed it because I'm looking for everything why did this video get 100,000 and this one did 10 million?
Yeah.
Sure, the content matters, but how did I set it up and what's different about it? Because I did the interview with you and posted that about the Las Vegas situation. Why did that not do well? Because I did the same kind of concept with Kevin.
Yep. Didn't work out the same way.
Didn't work out the same way. One did 28 million views. The other one did 100,000.
Yep.
So I look at those things. Yeah. How are you doing after your breakup?
I'm good. I mean, that was almost 2 years ago for me now.
I can't believe it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
So I got in a relationship when you were going through a breakup.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some things that you did post-breakup to help heal?
I
Give me
changed.
some advice, bro.
Yeah. I changed my whole environment. I closed up my lease at the spot that I was in because there was too much memory associated with that, where I kind of built the apartment around us. Mm-hmm. I changed all my routines. You know, I focused on working out like you did as well. I got my morning routine and my afternoon and my evening routines like set in stone. And I also pushed myself way harder than I'd been pushed before.
Why do we wait to the breakup to do the glow up? Why can't we do it in the relationship?
Comfort.
Why does it take
comfort?
Okay. It takes losing someone to change.
Yeah. There's the, I'm going to butcher this, but it's called the beta region paradox. Have you heard about that? Mm-mm. The concept is, and there's going to be somebody on TikTok that tells me I've obliterated this idea. But it's the idea that if you were told to go a mile, you'd probably walk that distance in, 10 to 15 minutes. But if you're told to go 4 miles away, you would probably drive that distance in about 4 minutes. So because of the further distance, the harder it is to get there, you would actually harden your resolve in getting there quicker by hopping in a car and doing it. So the harder the scenario oftentimes makes us stronger and more intense in our resolve to go and finish that goal. And so often the breakup is what is the catalyst for that driving 4 miles instead of walking 4 miles, because we're so comfortable we can walk for a mile. That's fine. It's 15 minutes. It's 15 days. Well, now you're going to drive 4 miles in 1 day, right? And I think also we get so much of our identity from the relationship that we don't look for it in other places, in our career and in our hobbies and in our other things, that we have all of our needs met from this person all the time, all the time, all the time. And that's where a lot of the resentment can grow, because as soon as that person's not around, all of that identity is crushed. And so we need that catalyst that spurs us into motion. So breakups are usually a catalyst. It's like the idea of working a job that's 9 to 5, and it's not too bad, but it's not too good. You just kind of stay in it. Mm-hmm. But if you work a really bad job and your boss is an asshole to you and he's screaming at you and he's doing all these terrible things to you, you're going to quit that job and go get a better job because you demand better of yourself. But it's that lukewarm, I'm comfortable stage where we just kind of accept it for what it is. And I think that's one thing that I need to do better next time, is find, a girlfriend that propels me as much as I propel her, and we create kind of a symbiotic, relationship in the fact that we push each other. I'm not saying the last one wasn't that, but I think we gave up so much that it slowed down all of that progress that we were making. And in the end of it, you can really see, in the end of each relationship, you see this like really big slowdown in all of your goals and your dreams. And it's all just focused around trying to hold on to this last little bit of relationship that you have. And it blows up and you're like, oh, fuck, I've got to focus on myself again.
Do you believe in right person, wrong time?
I think it can happen for sure. 99% of the time, I don't think so. I think you met that person at the time that you did, and I think you got to see who they were and who they're going to be. We're also at an age, it's not like we're 17, right person, wrong time. We're 30. Mm-hmm. We're adults. So for the most part, people's brains aren't going to change by the time that you've broken up now. Their brains are fully developed. Their opinions and their ideas on religion and politics and everything else are virtually fully developed, and you can't change that. So now going into a new relationship, you have to understand that right person, wrong time can work when you're a child. But we're adults, and now we have to seek out people that have the same moral value and standard that we have every single time. There's going to be things that we disagree on, but is that a make or break scenario? And I think in the end of probably both of our relationships, there were things that we fundamentally disagreed on. And as adults, you can't change those things. You can't force that person to believe something
I do
different.
think you can change it because I've changed a lot moving to LA and living in the city.
You can change you.
Yeah.
You can't change them.
Yeah.
Different.
So yeah, they have to want to change.
Correct. And most people don't want to change.
We got to cut the conversation real quick. I got to pee so bad. Hold on.
Go pee.
I'm back.
You're back. Welcome to the pee station. Well, okay, so I'm struggling to ask you questions.
I know, because I don't want to give away details.
Correct. And what we previously talked about before we started the podcast are now topics that are off topic. So I'm struggling to find the topics that I can talk to you about on this.
Here's what I'll say about the relationship as a whole. We bonded very heavily at the beginning. Things were great all the time. Actually, no, they weren't great all the time. We had hardships in the beginning, for sure. But in the grand scheme of things, everything was really good. And then essentially, as I said, it now that it's over, it's easy to look back and see where everything went terribly wrong. Mm-hmm. And we hadn't been great for a very long time. We were holding on by a thread, both of us. Probably, I don't know, 6 months, to be honest with you. It was bad. And we tried. We tried the best we could at the time with what we knew. And it is what it is. Am I sad? Hell yeah, I'm sad.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be optimistic during this podcast and be genuine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it fucking hurts. I thought I was going to marry this girl. Mm-hmm. And it's over. And now that she's back in Switzerland, she went back a couple days ago. She's out of LA. The reality sits in that, damn, it's real. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of hard to process. And I know I have to process it instead of just focusing so hard on work and gym. Mm-hmm. I know that's part of it too, though, because you don't want to sit and let it. You could take two paths after a breakup, right? I could be sitting here and drinking myself to fucking oblivion every night, feeling bad for myself that we're not together anymore. I lost the love of my life, but I don't really have a choice. Now I'm alone in this apartment, and so I'm choosing to take the path that makes me a better person, and I hope that she takes a path that makes her a better person. I don't think either of us wanted this. We didn't want this to end this way. Yeah. And yeah. It sucks.
How you feeling right now?
Trying to stay optimistic. Focus on the good. And that's something I talked about in therapy too. Focus on the good things, the good memories, what you learned from the relationship, take away the good, but also acknowledge the bad and use that for your future. I've cried.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie about that.
Yeah. That's normal. It'd be weird if you didn't.
Right? It'd be sociopathic.
Yeah.
We did meet up before she went back.
How'd that go?
That was fun. I think that helped, actually.
Okay.
The little breakup sex action.
Yeah. Breakup sex. Is it toxic or is it good? Go.
I mean, I think that it helped. It helped me. We still love each other, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I had fun. Is breakup sex a bad thing, you think?
No, everybody handles it differently.
Dude, I was talking to my therapist too, and she was like, I was like, yeah, we met up and we hooked up, and she's like, you know, a lot of couples do the breakup sex thing, and that's where the highest likelihood of pregnancy happens.
Yep.
I was like, I mean, I don't think we have to worry about that. Ugh. I hope.
What are did you find yourself ignoring red flags and missing the green flags in the relationship?
100%. I think everybody has red flags, but yeah, I definitely overlooked some red flags.
Looking back, having seen those red flags, would you have changed anything?
Yes. I need to be better at setting boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and being firm on the boundaries. Honestly, dude, I'm too nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I blame my dad. My dad, sorry, Dad, I love you, but you're too fucking nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has rental properties and people miss their rent for 3 months. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't like, dude, gotta set firm boundaries. And I'm the same way. I don't know why. I always see the good in people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't set boundaries. And I have to start having a little bit more self-respect for myself and be firm on my boundaries. Which it's interesting because I have no fucking problem doing that to people I don't care about.
Right.
But people I care about walk all over my boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a recurring theme in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, I wish her the best. I hope she finds happiness. I hope she heals. I hope she works on herself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we both have things that we need to work on. And I told her, I'm like I love you. I want you to be happy. That's all that I care about. Like, and if, of course, I wanted the happiness to be with me, but unfortunately, we couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I want her to be happy, and I want to be happy. We both deserve to be happy, and yeah, I wish her the best.
Do you think right person, wrong time?
It's really hard for me to say because like I said, I have never connected with anyone on the level that I connected with her. Mm-hmm. Even my first relationship, I wasn't really. I understand why that relationship fell apart.
Yeah.
I'll take blame for that one because all I cared about was daily vlogging. But this one was, I don't know, man. There's just something about her.
Yeah.
And our love was pretty fucking real and strong. Mm-hmm. So maybe I think we both, but actually I think this is good because had we not met at this time, neither of us would put in the work to become better.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What are your closing thoughts for people in relationships and people getting out of relationships? How do you process all this?
I think something actually I wish that I did was, and I saw something that said if someone wants to take a break, then no, just end it. I actually do think now, looking back and reflecting, that if we took a step back for a second, not a break, but like we still were like exclusive to each other. We're still in a relationship, but we're like, hey, like let's pump the brakes on hanging out every single day. Let's take a little time apart from each other, but not sleep with other people, obviously. Or I think that would have helped so that we could get the space to think and heal.
Didn't you guys have that space though with all the Euro trips and time apart? Well,
yeah, but that was the difference. I guess that's from my end. I enjoyed the space. She didn't. She liked being together all the time, which I obviously liked being together all the time, but I needed space to breathe, to be able to figure out my life. And it's hard to figure out your life when you also have to help your focus on someone else. So looking back, I wish that we did take the step back, even when maybe we were together for those 3 months and I still was, you know, I even told her, I'm like, hey, like, you don't have to go through this with me. I need to figure this out on my own, which I do. Yeah. We all, like, I can't figure out your life for you. You got to figure it out. Yeah. But I think I get so many questions still to this day about breakups. And I'm just going to say the same thing that helped me. Like, go to the gym, focus on your health, set goals, read books, want to get better, eat healthy. Did I already say that? Hang out with your friends, pick up a new hobby, and just strive for greatness, baby.
Be the best.
And let yourself cry.
Yeah.
You got to feel those. Dude, there's one day I'm happy. I feel happy at least. And it's always nighttime when all that shit hits you. Yeah. You're like, I'm lonely. I want my girl here to watch a movie with me. And you get all sad. I've been through relief. And I think all these things are common in a breakup. I've been through relief. I've been through grief. I've been through fucking anger. I've been through sadness. And you just got to feel all those things. And I guess time heals all wounds, right? Yeah. And I guess that's the optimism in me that I know I've been through this before, so I can get through it, and it made me a stronger person. And I just can't let myself slip again like COVID.
Yep.
COVID was the catalyst for my downfall.
Mm-hmm.
And then you going to Toronto during COVID and me being alone.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't fit to be alone.
Yeah. It's hard. Kind of a weird, almost like a friend separation, physical friend separation.
Well, you're my right-hand man, bro.
Yeah. Same.
It's your fault that all this happened.
You're goddamn right. Amen. That's right.
No,
I'm the glue, baby.
Truthfully, I mean, we were crushing in that house. Then
Yeah.
you went to Toronto. I got alone. I started playing Call of Duty because I didn't have my fucking boy there to watch movies and
Yeah.
to create content. And then the house got broken into.
Mm-hmm.
That fucked me up. So
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, I'm getting out of this house. And my car got broken into.
Yeah. Dude, I've been robbed over 7 times in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I just had my luggage stolen at the airport. Like, it's ongoing in LA. It never stops.
That's why I went back to the apartment to live alone
Mm-hmm.
and have security and not access straight to my front door.
Yep.
And then that was another mistake. But this time I have the breakup as motivation, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to fall back into those old patterns. I'm going to do what I did last time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I have told myself one night a week at most.
Mm-hmm.
So if my friends want to go out on Friday or Saturday, I'll pick. Usually they want to go out both days, and I did this last weekend. They went out Friday. I went out with them. They said, "Oh, we're going to this party Saturday." I said, "No, I'm staying in."
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm getting back to. I don't want to totally be like, "Hey, I'm not hanging out with the only people that are trying to bring me out of this situation right now,"
Yeah.
because that's all they want to do is drink.
Right.
So I'll go out once a week,
Mm-hmm.
but the other days I'm focused.
Yep.
Gym 5 days a week. Hit a hike on Saturday morning. Get outside.
I think final question, because this is something that people don't talk about very often, is how did the breakup affect your friendships? Because it's not just you that breaks up, because you've developed relationships now with your girlfriend. How did that affect your friendships in the midst of all that?
And I hate that this happens, but every time you get into a relationship, you push your friends away because you want to spend all that time with this person and build that future, and they make you feel good. And the comfortability of staying in and watching a movie, it really, I mean, I lost all my friends. I didn't lose them. They were there, but no one ever asked me to hang out anymore because they knew I'd say no.
Right.
And now they're all hitting me up to hang out.
Yep.
Which I do hate too, because I feel like when you're single, they hit you up more.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want single dudes around them to make their decision making better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to hang out with friends when I'm in a relationship again. I need to continue to do things alone and still do this. Not going to do single dude shit as I described the other stuff, like single girl shit. You can't do that when you're in a relationship. But I'll bring my partner to hang out with my friends. But you also have to have those times where you do stuff without your partner, as long as it's appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good rekindling friendships. It's been good starting the podcast back up. I've been reaching out to people to be on it, and feels good to get back on my feet. But
what is appropriate and what's not appropriate for single girl and single guy shit and relationship?
I mean, if you're a chick and all your friends are single and they're like, "Hey, let's go to Vegas. So-and-so's flying me out," I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think it's appropriate for another man to be paying for shit for you. I don't think it's appropriate for you to go on a fucking boat with a bunch of chicks and dudes when your boyfriend's not there. I'm sorry. It's not appropriate. And I think it's a bad look on your partner. Oh, Mark's girlfriend's doing this, and this. What a fucking idiot. We all know what goes down in that type of shit. Don't put yourself in those situations because something bad's going to happen.
Yep.
We're guys, bro. Also, as a female and a male, do not vent to the opposite sex about your partner. Men prey on women who are venting about how bad their relationship is. They tell them all these sweet nothings in their ear, everything they want to hear. And when you're vulnerable and you're in a bad spot in your relationship and you hear that shit, you're like, "Oh, I feel heard. This person understands me."
Could you say that the opposite is true though, as well? When guys are venting to a chick, it's the same thing. It's like, "Oh,
why are you
I could help you."
Yeah, why are you venting about your partner? I can change that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so easy when you're not emotionally stable to get yourself into bad situations.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
And the same thing with friends, venting to you. Like I said, start telling your friends the good shit too.
Yep.
So that they understand the full scope of things.
Yeah.
Don't just vent to your friends about your fucking relationship, because they're obviously going to side with you,
Mm-hmm.
and they're obviously going to start forming a hatred to the person because all they hear about is how this person makes your life so fucking miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them the good.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember asking you to stop venting to me because
Yeah.
I was like, dude,
It ruins our friendship.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I can't keep listening to this because it's only negative and I don't know.
And I keep telling you the same shit over and over, and you're like,
Yep.
bro, you keep telling me the same shit. You know what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like there's only one way out of this. If this is all that's happening all the time, it's not healthy. It's the definition of crazy, right?
Yeah, the
Or
definition of
insanity.
insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yep.
Facts. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'm done talking about this. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Me and Pearson, the dynamic duo,
Are back, baby.